Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for your many blessings. Thank you, Lord, for this day. Thank you for the freedom we have to come together and meet and take care of county business. And Lord, if you see it in your will to bless our land with some more rain, please do so. We ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
Okay, item one, approval of agenda.
So moved, Mr. Chairman, to approve.
Second.
Motion made and second to approve agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Approval of minutes,
I move we approve the minutes.
and that will be of June 20th and the 23rd special meeting. Motion made and second to approve.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sure Mandy may know, but on the special meeting, did you make that correction?
Well, I didn't second it because I was not at the special meeting, so that's why I didn't do
Did
the
second.
second. Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
I was not made aware of a correction.
Well, double check me, but I thought there at the beginning you said that Dennis made the motion. I don't think Dennis was there.
I made the motion to approve the agenda. On the minutes, I have not.
No, he's
Stated
talking
anything.
about,
I'm talking about the approval of the
Special
special meetings of the special meeting.
It does say Mr. Lopez made the motion with a second by Commissioner Savage in the minutes. Let's see what it says in my scribbled notes.
When I was reading my
In this,
packet, I thought it said that you said Dennis did it.
it does, but in my handwritten notes, it says Tina did. So I will make that correction to Commissioner Dixon. Made the motion with a second from Commissioner Savage.
you're so good.
Thank
Because Commissioner Lopez was not there, he could not have made the
you.
motion.
I don't know.
Right.
You're
I-
correct.
You know, it was one of those kind of messed up deals where I wasn't really
There.
You was here by the phone.
Yeah.
here by the.
And then you joined in person at
Okay.
52 minutes
Right.
after. I will make that correction.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes with the corrected version. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. I need to turn this off. Public request. Do we have anybody here? Mr. Lovato, would you like to talk earlier or anything? Wonderful. Yes, ma'am.
I forgot to be on the agenda for a report, so I'll do this as public request.
Perfect.
On your desk, there is a thing about the
Yes, ma'am.
poll worker recruitment. That poll official recruitment event is going to happen on July 27th at 2:00 at the Jake Lopez Community Center. So if you know anybody that's interested in serving as a poll worker, send them. And there's some flyers out, and I'll talk about it on the radio a time or two between now and then.
That'd be perfect.
You have some flyers, I'd hang them up in the light if you want. I'll send some with you.
Is that it?
That's it.
Andy? Well, thank you very much. Nobody's here. Elected officials, Ms. Ramsey.
I'm going to move that a little. Okay, for my report, the facility today is at 53. We have 21 females, 32 males. We have 12 out-of-county detainees and are expecting more. Billing for Portales was at $3,740 for the month of June. Clay County was $18,975 for the month of June. Chavez County was at $1,650 for the month of June. Juvenile for the end of physical year for June That brought our total to 342, or I'm sorry, 342. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. 342,264 for the year by Roosevelt County paid. So that's what we paid for our juveniles for that year. In our MAT program, we have 9 individuals. We have 8 in group, 1 in individual, 2 on medication, and 1 in GED at this time. We have our greenhouse going up. I didn't write this down, but I'm adding it. We have our greenhouse going up today. Ricky has already poured the concrete for all of that. We have our garden going for the summer. We even got shade and purchased some larger items for the garden to get it going, and hopefully it doesn't burn off this summer. For that report, that's all I have. For my restrictive housing quarterly report, we have 0 for the months April through June of 23. I stand for any questions.
Thank you.
Good.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Shane, I do have one. How many more detainees are y'all expecting?
Well, we're going
Of
to
other
talk
counties.
about some contracts later on in the agenda here in a little bit. I know Quay County is looking for additional housing for more detainees and things like that, but so are a few other counties. So I'm hoping to get some more contracts going out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Lovato.
Good morning, Chairman. Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning, sir. It's got to be important because he had it in his briefcase.
Yeah, it's always important. We continue to blade. A couple of weeks back, we had a pretty good rainstorm and we had to mobile everybody out to go fix these roads that were tore up. We had many miles tore up. It's not like we had another storm come through this last weekend, but I thought we were caught up. I was just informed that we might not be. But the guys did get back to their routes and they're starting to blade their routes again. We continue to clean cattle guards, fix cattle guards. I also had a question brought up by Commissioner Criswell about roading. And at the time yesterday, I didn't have an answer for you. But after thinking about it and visiting with my guys, so the reason for roading as much as we are now, years ago, there was the homesteads had actually residents in them where we could park, and then we could, at that area of that house, we could do 4 or 5 miles around that area and that circumference, and then pick up and move to another spot and do that same thing. Well, as you know, the rural area, the houses, the homesteads are empty. So we got to pick and choose where we want to park our equipment for safety and for non-vandalism. And so now that we're doing that, our circumference has gotten bigger, 10 miles, 15 miles, sometimes even 20. So now we're having to go where we left off and travel and road to get to where we were yesterday to finish our route, or that blading route. So that is why. And if y'all, I just want to bring that up to everybody so everybody would understand why there's so much roading now.
No, that's understandable.
Okay. And then also LGRF 23, we're on Highlands. We should get the dirt work done this week. I'm hoping in August we'll be chip sealing it. Get that done. And then also we'll be chip sealing State Line. I'll have Road 6 will be starting the week of the 24th for the city. And then I would like to have that chip sealed in August also, because we'll be having the microseal crew coming back in, and we'll have a few roads that's going to have to be microsealed. And those are some of them that need to be done, and I need to have them done in August, and they'll be here in September. We've been doing concrete work at the food bank. We did the 2 driveways at the food bank, the entrances, and then we also did the EOC for Johnny, 2 entrances, driveways. And then yesterday we started the project at the fairgrounds with Efren. Efren's building our fences for the fairgrounds, and we started at the youth building. So on the east side of the youth building, that fence that goes east to the gates, We pulled that up. We put the poles in. He'll hang them starting tomorrow. We're letting the concrete set for a day. And then we'll put the fence up. He'll put the fence up hopefully by this weekend. That way we'll have security. And then after he gets that fence up, we'll pull the fence off behind the extension office, pull that fence up, and then start putting those in. And then we get that section done, then we'll do the one by the windmills. Other than that, I'll stand for any questions.
Okay, Ricky,
Yes.
over in my district, like off Y and all of that area over in there, 25, all of those, they're still really bad over in that area, the roads. And did you guys ever go down and catch BJ Moore's,
Yes.
the one that leads up to his house?
Yes.
Okay.
We sure did. The day that I got a text message a week and a half ago, that's when we hit that road.
Okay. Because I just seen him again at the 4th of July and he's like, they still haven't.
No, we hit it.
So I was just making sure.
Yes, ma'am. In fact, he stopped and visit with the blade operator.
Okay.
Yes. And then Road Y, our operator's on vacation this week, and he left off right there at Road 20 and at Mr. Hasso's
Mhm.
and AB. So he's fixing to jump on 14, and then that's where he'll continue his route. So when we got all them storms, that's where he was at. Now that's where he'll continue his route when he gets back next week.
Thank you.
Yeah, just a question. I've been asked about this again recently. In fact, I think Mr. Savage has had people contact him about AP and the blockage.
I talked to a lady yesterday, Shelly, and I moved our loader up there this morning, and we're stacking it as we're speaking now.
Okay.
I think her name was Shelly from Austin or Abilene. That's where she was from. The dad lives up there, or he did, but they still got animals and cattle and that they got to get up there and feed. So we are opening it up today. Today he's there with the loader.
So has there been any, how do I put this anyway, decision made what to do with the sand that's filled in? What?
There hasn't been. I've heard that the landowner will take it back. I want to get the scraper up there, and it's going to be probably 2 weeks of work just with the scraper and the blade work and put it back in his field. But he's got to have a plan once I get it back on his field, what he's going to do with it, because he's going to have to put some manure down. He's going to have to put something down on top of it to keep it from blowing, because otherwise what we're going to do is going to be for nothing.
He's had that problem for 4 or 5 months. I don't know, quite a while. He hadn't done it yet, so I don't know if we can count on it or not. But yeah, that problem needs to be solved before we do
Whole lot of work.
a fix, because I think we had it open once,
Yes, sir. Twice.
twice,
Yes, sir.
and it's blown full again. And so it's sort of repetitious. And it's not really fair for the county. And it's not fair for you to have to take care of his
We're-
unprofessional farming methods.
So I'll visit with Mr. I'm not going to say his name. I'll visit with the farmer, and then I will come back in front of the board and see if I can get permission to get on his land to put it back before I do anything. So, and make sure he understands that he needs to put a cover on top of that, manure, something on top of it to keep it from blowing.
I got you.
So,
That's not the only location that happens at either.
no, sir, it's everywhere.
There's a lot of it down there.
Yes, sir.
Southeast of here.
State line.
Yes.
There's a good spot. Just everywhere. Tina has it on W and Y and Z, and
Anyway,
Is there anything in my district?
sure is. There is
I didn't mean
weeds,
to ruin your day.
trash,
Potholes?
potholes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
I would like to commend you on your tact and people skills on working with these people.
Well, thank you.
I have a constituent in my district. He's elderly and he's a veteran, and thinks his roads are important. And you get along with that man very well, and you did a very good job satisfying him, and I appreciate that.
You're welcome, sir.
And while I have you here, some southern end of a northbound equine put some mattresses right there on this road, right there by my house, by the peanut plant. I don't know if you don't get them, I'll get them, I guess. But anyway,
We have there's been a lot of dumping here lately. So I was going to get a crew together next week, 2-guy crew, and go start picking up trash throughout the county. So we'll make our rounds.
2-man job.
So I guess my PSA didn't do any good or what?
So there's a lot of graffiti on our new signs that we put out. I don't know if y'all notice all the new signs. We have a lot. I think we put out over 50 signs, Liliana. And
Well, the city,
I'm gonna say 15, 20 of them. I've already got graffiti. Yeah.
well, the cities, they're citing. I know personally of several individuals that got the $500 citation,
Right.
and the judge is enforcing it.
Well, it's good to have that because it does have the state statute, the dumping fees, and what's going to happen to them. So it's in English and Spanish. So it's out there. So if they do get caught, they can't say that they didn't know. So
True.
they've been warned.
one more question
Yes, sir.
on that road AP north of the House Highway there. Is that a county line road? If it is, what makes it our responsibility versus Curry's responsibility? Do we have an agreement with them? Or we've been doing it, but it seems to me like if it is a county line road, there should be some responsibility from Curry. So I don't know.
I don't have the right answer. I don't want to say something that I'm incorrect with. It is a county line. The material that's being blown is coming from Roosevelt. It is on the west side of the road. The road is North Roosevelt Road AP. And I believe Curry County just calls it AP. They don't call it North Roosevelt Road AP. So maybe
Well,
Okay.
if memory serves me well, Commissioner Greider, when we were in the commission back in the day, we had tried to negotiate a mutual agreement with Curry County to address issues like that. I think we need to readdress it again because we did a lot of different things that were like a JPA, Joint Powers Agreement. So if we can at least get with Lance Pyle, and I'll address it with Amber.
Sure.
Yeah, and then we'll go from there. That way she can have a meeting with him and address it to their commission.
right. Well, I know that North Roosevelt Road 3 from Highway 70 to the state line, they take care of those 9 miles. And I don't know, we don't have nothing on that. We don't do any maintenance on it. But I don't know what the agreements were back then, but that's just what we've always done. We've took care of AP and they've taken 3. I've never seen anything in writing. I don't know if it was just a handshake back in the day or if there's something written up on it. So,
It still seemed like pretty good trade on our part.
yes, sir. That's a very busy road. North Roosevelt Road 3 is a major corridor for all the milk trucks to get to the milk plant from the state line, from Muleshoe, from all in that area coming across there.
So I would like the record to reflect that our road superintendent will meet with Amber, our county manager, to address this issue,
Definitely, sir.
please.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Mickey.
We'll see y'all.
Adios. Okay, we're going to be blessed with Lily speaking to us now.
Well, thank you. Good morning, Commissioner. So I really only have one item to ask kindly to consider if we could move the August 8th commission meeting to the 15th. Roosevelt County has been invited to a small summit that week of the 8th. So that way it would give the opportunity for Roosevelt County to be present at that summit.
8th to the 15th.
To the 15th, correct.
That'll work with me.
Does that work for everybody?
Yes,
Say that
Commissioner.
again, I didn't get all of it.
Wants to take our August meeting on the 8th and move it to the 15th.
Okay.
I think it needs to happen.
And then I also, one more thing, we're going to be celebrating Heritage Days this weekend. We will have a table booth representing Roosevelt County on Saturday at the park. So hopefully we'll get to see some faces and good little step to promote the county.
Okay, what time is Roy Lee's shift?
We did assign a time shift for him to be. No, we didn't.
Be there from 5 to 7 okay? In the morning.
At the heat of the day,
In the
3, 4.
I'll be at the street party, the street dance they're having that night.
Oh, no, here we go.
No, I'm working
Okay.
it as well, Lidiana. Through MHR,
Commissioners.
I'll be there.
Thank you.
Do you have anything, Roy Lee?
Yes, sir. For a long time, something's been on my mind for a while. And I was on the Roosevelt County Fair Board for several years. And anyway, it bothered me back then. And we called it the Roosevelt County Fair. So why is the county charging the fair board to have the fair on our facilities, with it being called Roosevelt County Fair? So with that being said, I'd like to be put on the agenda for the next meeting to see if we can't maybe just charge, instead of charging them that $5,000 that's been doing, maybe we charge them $1. That way they can take that money and try to make the fair better by getting better venues or something like that. And I know it because the fair struggles. I will say the fair board struggles. The fair struggles because it all depends on the weather, on the attendance out there, whether they're going to be able to pay their bills, for the venues and stuff coming out there. So anyway, and I wanted to bring that up, and I'd like to put it to a vote.
Well,
Yeah.
I can answer a little bit of that, I think. It's supposed to be a fair and equitable amount. And I don't know if $1 would be considered.
That'd be something that Michael, I think something that Michael could answer,
That'd go back on the anti-donation statute.
Mr. Chair and Commissioner Criswell, I think that might be the answer. I just have to look at it. I'm guessing that the Fair Board is probably a non-governmental entity, in which case, if it is not governmental, then we might have an anti-donation problem. I don't know all that, so I have to double check, but that might be the answer.
And then in kind, so it's got to be a legal question with that. And then we're very vested. I know since I've been a commissioner, since when I was a commissioner in 2000, I've been very vested in investing with the fairgrounds when it went from Caliche and we did the chip seal and all the part and everything we've done for the last 20 years. I mean, I think that we've invested quite a bit, but I see your point as well. So I would like it to come before the board once we have advice from the legal counsel.
Well, and that's all I've got. And I know that's been a question I've had for years. And like I say, it's been 15 years ago whenever I was on that board, and we struggled with it back then.
Yeah.
And so anyway.
Well, I think that's the problem situation. Tina?
Anyway.
I have a lot to say later, so I'll
Okay.
pass now.
I pass. Mr. Savage?
I have something I want to talk about, but I'll try to be brief. It's really not commission business, but it has to do with activity in the county that I would like to make the commission aware of and the people here. Y'all are familiar with a lady named Joyce Cone who lived in our community for several years, and she spent a lifetime working with 4-H and FFA kids and a lot of other kids in our community, supporting those kids in agriculture endeavors. Helped train a lot of teams, helped 4-H record books, sponsored 4-H kids on to the convention and contest, FFA kids, and spent a lot of money, junior livestock sales. And she spent a lifetime in the service to agriculture youth in the community. So some of us got together and we started a foundation we're calling the Malcone Foundation. And we're raising money to support agriculture youth. And it may not be Portales, it may be Dora, Elida, just any kid that's an agricultural youth that needs some support. And it's not just to spend money at the junior livestock sale. We're raising money. It may be scholarship money. It may be some kid may need something, help buying an FFA jacket or clothes to go
Travel
somewhere,
expense, maybe?
whatever. They may need money to buy materials for a shop project in the shop. It just, we don't know. We're just gathering money to support agriculture youth. So, and it's called the Malcone Foundation. And so I'd like to make y'all aware of that. We're having a fundraiser, which is going to be a fun time. It's going to be get the date, September 23rd and 23rd. It's between the State Fair and the Roswell Fair. It's going to be at that venue down there at by Herbert's Lumber. We're having a steak cook-off instead of a barbecue cook-off. Have a steak cook-off. People come and compete. So, and there's going to be a steak dinner with it. There's going to be the Delk Band is going to entertain, and this is to raise money to help agricultural youth. Price is going to be $75 a piece, or $140 for a couple. It's just a steak dinner and entertainment. So, raising money to support agricultural youth. Just want to make that announcement. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Count me in and I will spread the word for sure.
Well, I appreciate that. That's
Mr.
all.
Lopez.
I have a lot, but I'm going to have to address it with Amber. So I don't want to bore you with anything besides the fact that on this Thursday, they've invited me to do a statewide radio interview in reference to homelessness here in our area and mental health, behavioral health. So I would love for you guys to tune in and hear me out. And I will send this to y'all, but I want to announce it's going to be on KURU 89.1 FM stream. And then also if you can log on to gmcr.org, and it'll be at 9:00 this Thursday.
There you go.
Yes.
You're going to send that to us.
Yes, I'll forward it to you guys
Thank you.
for sure.
Thank you.
And that's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Welcome.
Okay, moving on, new business. Item 5A, request for approval of type 3-B summary subdivision replat 6-7-8 of Mesa Edition Block 14. Donnie Montiel.
Good morning, Chairman, Commissioners. These are replats that are in the municipality of the city of Portales. So Nathan and Serena Dodge have applied for a summary replat of lots 6 through 8 in Block 14 of the Mesa Edition subdivision. This replat is located in Section 36, Township 1 South, Range 34 in the Mesa Edition. It's in the city of Portales municipalities. It's it's located by the Valencia Elementary School, just straight south of it. So that's where it's at. The replat is combining lot 6, 7, and 8 to create track A. The biggest size of that lot is 1.040 acres in size. It falls under our Article 6 under the summary review process. No adverse opinions from utility or landowners by the letter sent out by the city. Has been approved by the city, has met all of our rules and regulations in our subdivision ordinance. I ask for your approval. I stand for any questions.
So moved, Mr. Chairman, to
Second.
approve as
I'll
presented.
second
Motion been made to approve and seconded on item 5A. Roy Lee, how do you vote?
Yes.
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 5 yes votes, motion passes. Basically the same thing on 5B, but go ahead and
Yes, sir. This one is the same location. The only difference is in block 10, not block 14. It's southeast of the Valencia School. It's still in the Mesa Addition subdivision. It's in the city limits. This one is different. It has 2 tracks. It's combining lot 6, 7, and the west half of 8 to create track A. And then the other side is going to be the east half of lot 8, lot 9, and lot 10 to create track B. The smallest size is 0.86 acres in size. The biggest is 0.869. It's under our Article 6. The city sent out letters, no adverse opinions, has been approved by the city. It's met all of our rules and regulations. I ask for your approval on this one also. I stand for any questions.
And the landowner's name on that one?
Oh, I'm sorry, Garrett Hatch. Garrett Hatch.
I move for the adoption of 5B.
Second.
motion made and seconded to approve 5B. Dennis?
Yes.
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 5 yes votes, motion passes. Thank you, Johnny. Okay, now we have 5C, request for approval to provide the city of Portales with notice of detention billing requirements. Commissioners and Michael. And I don't care who goes first. Tina, would you like to go first?
Didn't we skip C?
No, we are on
We
C.
are.
Oh, okay. The volunteer fire department? Okay, sorry.
No, this is,
No.
You're up.
Oh, right, I'm way down there, y'all. Okay, yeah, here we are.
You're
Okay.
lost.
I'm the one that's way ahead of the game over here. I'm just reading that. Okay.
did you want to talk on
I
that?
do have something to say on that, but I was gonna let Michael give his spiel first.
I don't, Mr. Chair, Commissioners, I don't have a lot to add. Basically, I think what we want to do is just have an invoice and something that accounts for all of our expenses and send an appropriate, reasonable bill to Portales for Portales inmates that are housed in Roosevelt County Detention.
Perfect.
And I think the opinion that council presented to us was pretty straightforward. So I appreciate that.
And I would like to reiterate that there is an Attorney General's opinion out there that somewhat supports what Portales has been saying, but I think it's a weak opinion. It's not based on any law. And so I don't think that that's the stronger argument. And I know that that has come up from time to time, but there's just no support for it in statute or case law. And so I don't think it would carry the day if it ever went to court. Just felt like I should reiterate that.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so on this, I've been working on these negotiations with them for a while. And they have said that they don't think that, they do argue on that. I have talked to legal at New Mexico counties. I've talked to them several places. It's all the exact same thing, that there is no law that says that we cannot charge them like we want to charge them. So with that being said, there has been a lot of talk around town, a lot of gossip, hearsay, whatever you want to call it, about comments that have been being made that the county is not paying their bills to the city of Portales, i.e. this EMS stuff. And then we went through the whole thing with dispatch. We went through all of that. With that, I would like to make it clear that we do pay our bills. We have the check numbers that the bills were paid when they were invoiced within the 30-day period. I have check numbers, I have the amounts, all of that has been paid. So the fact that the comments are being made that we're not are straight up lies. From whoever's saying them, it's just a bunch of lies, and it needs to stop, because this has turned into just a huge school grade fight, like we're out on the dang playground, and it's ridiculous. We have been billed 300, they're wanting $378,239.40 is what their comment was for fire and EMS services. Ours is, I think it's 856,370 if we would charge them like we charge everybody else for dispatch services.
Has there
For
ever,
detention services, I'm sorry, for detention.
how many checks do you have in your investigation that they have paid us for the detention in the last year?
I don't have an amount of how many checks they paid. They have been paying, I think, on an average of $45 per inmate. And that's if the inmate is there for a full day.
55.
Or 55. And then it can be, what is it, Liliana, $12.50 or something like that if it's the half day, or what?
It was 24,
24? Okay.
24.50 or around there.
So they've got all these different prices, which everybody else is paying full price, and we do not charge them what we charge everybody else. And with that, if they're paying 55 and 24.50 or whatever, we also have we pay the city of Portales the water bill for the detention. What's the percentage of detention that
Dallas detainees?
Portales that we have?
Usually it's about 75%.
Okay, 75%. So we have, we do the food pantry that also benefits the city of Portales. The emergency operations center that we just spent $500,000 on. We just did the $137,000 for South Roosevelt Road 6 that's in Portales. We do anywhere from $15,000 to $18,000 a year on a water bill for the detention facility. We just, for fiscal year 23 and 24, it was $350,000. We paid the city of Portales for the dispatch services. We've been paying the city of Portales EMS and fire. The contribution has been $30,500. So we have been paying something on all of these, and I understand what they're saying with the when it comes to the detention and what the opinion is, or however they want to argue that. But to me, the same thing goes with fire and EMS, because you do a job, and whether it's fire and EMS or whatever, to change your radius to not do outside of the city limits of Portales or whatever, because some of the bills that we have on there is going out to the rodeo arena, that they're billing us because they went to the rodeo arena and things like that. The Red Vine District, all of that. So I just think that the public needs to know that we are paying the bills. And it is not as easy and cut and dry as somebody might think, that somebody can just send you an invoice and tell you, this is my invoice and this is what you want to pay. Because by the time they owe us and we owe them, there's a whole big picture of everything that happens within Roosevelt County, whether it's with the city of Portales, Dora, Elida, or whatever. We've got to learn to work together. But I think that the slandering of each other needs to stop. And I'm tired of everybody complaining and making this be a personal thing and trying to feel like they have to be on top all the time. Because what we need to do is just find some even ground. But if you look at it, by the time it's all said and done, we need to help each other get this figured out. And I don't know, whatever y'all have to say, I would be happy to listen. I have a whole stack of stuff here and 2 notebooks full if you want any of the proof or whatever, and I have several emails.
Thank you, sir, ma'am.
I have one question for Shayla. We're working on an agreement with San Miguel County, and in reading that agreement, the rate was $124 a day.
Yes, sir.
And you're saying you're maybe working on an agreement with some other counties?
Hopefully, yes, sir.
So
Looking for renewal, things
question
like that.
comes to my mind, why would we charge San Miguel or some other county 124 in the city less than 50? So I think we're
I
being,
do have an answer.
okay.
So San Miguel will take care of their medical bills for their detainees and their transporting for their detainees.
The city does.
The city does not for us.
I think his question is how come we're letting the city get by so cheap if we're charging?
That was an agreement that was made many, many years
That's
ago
right.
before
And
my
that's what
time.
we're fixing to undo right here, right
And
now.
that's what we're discussing right now is the $154 because we don't get medical help. We don't get transport help. So San Miguel will take care of that. That's in the contract and all of those things. They take care of all those. So that's
Okay.
why.
Sign of the times. Sorry, Mr. Chairman, go ahead.
I think, and even you could have even got ahead of yourself. I think we're talking about setting a daily rate at 155
Mhm.
for the city. But then we have to take care of all their medical, all their transport, all of it, everything, every
Yes, sir.
whimp and
Mhm.
whine they've got. San Miguel takes care of their medical, all their transport, and that's why they will be at a little cheaper rate
Yes, sir.
than the city of
Right.
Portales.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm said my piece.
So, fair market value. We haven't changed the rates in many, many years. We got the presentation, I think, a couple of meetings ago on what it costs to even get an RFP for what it costs for medical services for the inmates in our detention center. It's astronomical in my eyes. I think that our county, if we don't move on this and get fair market value, which is due to us, we're going to eventually be broke.
No, we're going to end
It's
up
not gonna-
having to shut down the detention center. It's what will happen if we don't start breaking even.
So it's just fair market value and just no animosity. Commissioner Dixon, I appreciate everything you said, but it's just common sense should prevail in this situation. And we're elected officials to protect all of our constituents. I am the city county commissioner, and we've got to do what's right. And this is right to me. It's reality, and it's just right.
Okay, I'm going to make the motion to approve 5C.
Second.
We have a second. Roy Lee?
Yes.
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 5 yes votes, motion passes. Well, this is Tina Dixon again with the lizard.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Okay, so they are now wanting to list the dune sagebrush lizard as an endangered species. I know you guys have heard me complain about the prairie chicken 100 times, so this is going to be the same thing. And one of the things that they're saying about their map is that 80% of the area that they have is already in some kind of farm program, or it's the conservation program, I'm sorry, in some form of conservation program. But you have to remember that just because it's in a conservation program, that is exactly what happened with the lesser prairie chicken. All these oil and gas companies and the farmers and ranchers, everybody went ahead and started doing these conservations. The prairie chicken was in 14, the sand dune lizard was in 11, and they started doing these conservation efforts trying to help all of this. So that's still their 80% of their map, but they're still going to go ahead and do it as threatened anyway, when these conservation efforts have not changed anything, but it's still what they're going along with. But you have to remember that these areas, these habitat areas, once it's listed as endangered, if this species, whether it's the lizard, the chicken, or whatever, comes across the road and gets on your property, somebody thinks they might have seen it, like they did the jumping mouse or whatever, they're going to control your stuff as well, because it is an endangered species. It's going to fall into the WOTUS stuff because there's an endangered species drinking out of your water or on your property. So this is the, there's a 60-day comment period that I would like to be able to go ahead and us to submit a comment on that. So I'll just cut it short with that. If anybody has any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
I will support your comment if you submit it to the right entities. Because it'll affect it's going to affect our agricultural community,
It is.
dairy, ranching, everything else. And that's what we strive on. So I will support whatever comment you'll make.
This deal is ridiculous. You know, I have spent some time working with BLM and pheasants forever, counting those chickens
Mhm.
in the southern part of the county, northern Lee, Oilfield, and everybody. I saw a few lizards. Hard to tell them apart. I'm not even sure there is such a thing as a sand dunes sagebrush lizard. And the research science, in order to catch one of the little varmints, you got to have a bowl with a little snare, and you put it around his head and pull it. And when you do, you pop his head off. Ridiculous. So their conservation efforts probably killing more lizards than they're helping. The whole thing is just ridiculous. And our people and our livelihood in this state depends on the oil, agriculture and oil. And so whatever we can do to push back against this, the public needs to be made aware of it. And so I'm supporting. I'd like to thank you, Commissioner Dixon, for all the work you're doing at local, national level.
Thank you.
Doing great. We appreciate that. Very few people have the expertise you have and experience to be able to do that. And so that's great. One other small little comment that you might be, and Commissioner Criswell may be interested in. Angie Smith has talked to me about next Monday night at a Republican meeting. She would like someone from the commission to come to speak to that Republican meeting and explain to the people there what it entails and the duties and responsibilities of a commissioner. So people at that meeting may be interested in serving sometime as a commissioner. And I recommended that you two, because
Thank you.
Why not me, though?
I said I would talk to you.
Because I'm to the left of you or what?
No,
I'm just joking.
no.
I'm just joking.
No, you need to go talk to them about the
No.
Cadoon Sands lizard.
I'm still trying to figure out what a commissioner does.
There's a lot of work. There's a lot of work we do, like roads and stuff, and we got a great county manager, a great road department. We got Mr. Montiel, Shayla. We got people in place doing a lot of things, but the commission on some of these other issues that are not standard issues, somebody's going to run for commission. We need people on commission with that type of expertise. So I thought that's why I recommend you. Not.
You're not being biased.
I'm sorry.
I'm just joking.
Anyway, so if Angie calls you, you'll know what it's about.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Rod.
Okay, I think we're moving on, okay? Thank you for your report.
So real quick, so this can be an action item, but I need to know if it's the will of the commission that we submit. I'm pretty sure I have to have a vote to be able to submit comments for that comment period.
I make the motion and give you the right to submit a
I'll second.
comment.
The motion's been made to allow Ms. Dixon to take care of the business on the Sand Lizard. And I don't know how else to phrase it, but we have a motion and a second.
I'll vote yes if you're waiting.
Yes. I can't
Yes.
see you.
Yes.
Yes, 5
Thank
yes
you.
votes. Now we're going to get on to resolution, ordinance, and proclamations. Consider resolution 2023-22, revision of the Roosevelt County travel and per diem policy.
Commissioners, we revised this travel and per diem policy. It was last done in 2019. This is to reflect the per diem rates that changed the state approved. And so it will be going from $30 to $59. And this is still within the 24-hour period. So this gives an opportunity for our employees to have a little bit more allowance because everything has gone up significantly, even, if we go to fast food or convenience. So the travel and per diem policy reflects those changes. It has the new forms also to correspond with those rates. I'll stand for any questions.
Are those the only changes that have been made to that policy?
So travel and per diem, there was some language in the mileage using, so if we have to reimburse somebody for their mileage, you use the RN McNally calculator. If that's not available, then you would self-certify.
Yeah, I think they raised the overnight stay.
The overnight stay remains the same, and that's
Okay.
$215 per night. If it needs to be over that, then we would require county manager approval.
Okay.
I have one question. Under restrictions, it says that elected officials, employees are not entitled to any meal expenses for any travel less than 11 hours in duration. So if it's a 10-hour trip, you're not allowed to eat on the county.
Eat breakfast before you go.
Correct. So yes, your workday would have to be over 11 hours to be considered for mileage and per diem.
Or work days here, 11 hours in the court, here in the courthouse.
8 hours. And then we do have some detention officers that of course are on shifts, but when they're traveling, their day would have to be over 11 hours. And that is of course by state statute. We mirror the state policy.
That is a state statute that
Correct.
Are you ready for the motion?
Yeah, I'm waiting on you.
Mr. Chairman, I move for the adoption of item 6A, resolution 2023-22, revision to the Roosevelt County travel and per diem policy.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve 6A. Dennis?
Yes.
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 5 yes votes. Item 6B, consideration resolution 2023-28, reinstatement of the hiring and referral incentive program.
Good morning.
Bagwell. Good
Good
morning.
morning, Chairman and Commissioners. So I just have some numbers for you about the incentive program. Prior to enacting the incentive program, we were at a consistent vacancy percentage of about 20% over the course of a year at the detention center and about 11% over the course of the year at the sheriff's office. Since we enacted the program, the consistent average for the detention center has dropped to 6%. It's rounded it. And then 5% at the sheriff's office. Within the past fiscal year, we paid out 13 6-month incentives and 5 1-year incentives. Several of the ones who have been paid out their 6-month incentive just haven't reached their 1 year yet because they started at the end of the year last year. The incentives were already included in the personnel budget for fiscal year 24 at a total amount of $20,000. And in addition to this, we have received positive feedback regarding the incentive program from the ad hoc committee that we put together following the strategic planning retreat that we had in March. So we just asked for a continuation or renewal, whatever you want to call it, of this hiring and referral incentive program, and I will stand for any questions.
Could you state that again on those percentages that, and what they're related to. I didn't
Yeah.
quite get it.
Yeah, so over the course of the past year before we started the program, the detention center ran at about a vacancy percentage of 20%, and that dropped down to 6. And then at the sheriff's office, it was at about 11%, and it dropped down to 5.
That is the retention rate.
That's the vacancy rates that we
Yeah,
had.
okay.
So it's a big improvement.
Yeah, it has made a big improvement.
Yeah.
That's great.
So I move to approve agenda item 6B, Mr. Chairman, barring any other questions from commissioners.
I'll second that. Motion made and second to approve 6B. Tina, how you vote?
Yes.
Rod?
Yes.
Dennis?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. 5 yes votes. 6C, consideration resolution 2023-29, Roosevelt County Volunteer Fire Department, normal fee strapping program policy.
Commissioners, this is a request from our volunteer fire departments, are of course Arch and Mill and Sand. And this is just for a nominal fee. Included in your packets is the resolution with the different rates. The fire chiefs felt it was important to try and at least reimburse, whether it's $10 or $15 for if they get called out for a fire and such. So that would help offset some of that. And I'll stand for any questions.
And I'll make that motion to approve 6C.
Second.
Oh,
Is this, I have a question real quick. Is this only for Arch and Mill and Sand?
Correct. Let me make
They're the
sure I'm
only
looking at it.
county.
They're the only ones we control.
That is correct. In fact, the county would be paying.
Yeah, because they're
for
unincorporated, right? Because the other ones are municipalities like Elida and Dora and Floyd.
right, and we're the fiscal agent for Arch
Right.
and Mill and Sand.
Is there anything like this already in place, or is this the first time?
This is the first time.
Thank you.
Motion made and seconded to approve 6C. Rod?
Yes.
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 5 yes votes. Motion passes. Item 6D, consideration resolution 2023-30, notice of regular local election to be held November the 7th. Mrs. Park, how are you doing, ma'am?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Good.
This resolution is just basically to provide notice of what will be on the November ballot. So the entities, all of the governing bodies, municipalities, school districts, soil and water, hospital districts, those had from the 10th of June until 5 o'clock yesterday. That's why it's in paper on your counter, because it came out really late when they finally got notice from everybody. But the municipalities include Causey, Dora, Elida, Floyd, and Portales. Portales just opted in at their meeting on June 13th, and Elida has done their notice of intent to adopt an ordinance. They're pending tomorrow's meeting. So if they vote not to opt in tomorrow, then we'll strike that. But
If we pass this today, we're good to go.
whether or not they choose to opt in
Right.
tomorrow, yeah, we're meeting our statutory deadline with them. They're listed as pending. And then the school districts are Dora Consolidated, Elida Municipal, Floyd Municipal, House Municipal, Melrose Municipal, Portales Municipal, and Texaco Municipal.
I'll move to approve agenda item 6D as presented by our county clerk, Mr. Chairman.
I'll second it. Motion made and seconded to approve 6D.
Yes.
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 5 yes votes, motion passes. Item 6E. Consideration resolution 2023-31, adopting the amendment to the Roosevelt County Detention Policies and Procedures Manual and annual review.
Yes, sir. Upon our annual review, we have just completed our accreditation, which we got. We had to make some minor verbiage changes to 5 policies. So for D2 mechanical restraints, D4 therapeutic chair, and D1 use of physical force, we had to put hog tying is prohibited. So and that was what the auditors were wanting us to put in there, just to make sure that it's not allowed, things like that. For admission, we had to put and this is D28 admission, we had to put a certain amount of time that the detainees have to call their families as an intake. So that was just minor verbiage changes. And then for E6 fire safety, we had to make minor changes to a form, which is called our environmental form. So when we go and we do a building check or anything like that, we had to make that policy match that form. So that's the minor changes that we have made to those. That's all I have for those.
Nice.
I move to approve item 6E.
Second.
Motion made and second to approve 6E. Roy Lee?
Yes.
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 I would just like to thank you
Did you
and
vote
congratulations. Yes.
Thank you.
yes? 5 yes votes. You're ready and waiting on me, aren't you?
I am.
We are now under contracts, agreements, and procurements. 7A, request for approval of RISE Grant Award. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. I'm here this morning to request approval for the grant funding that we've been awarded. The first one is for the RISE grant. That's from the New Mexico Behavioral Health Services Division. That's going to be the bulk of our funding source for the MAP program at this point. What they have looked to award us is $339,600. So I'm requesting that we can accept that money and continue working our program.
I'll move to approve agenda item 7A as presented by Ms. Paulus.
I'll
Second.
second.
Motion made and seconded. Take your choice. I'll vote yes. Rod?
Yes.
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 5 yes votes. Motion passes. Chris, thank you.
Thank you. My second request is that we can accept a little bit more money. When we were at the New Mexico Counties Conference, I had the opportunity to speak to someone from the SOAR program, which is the State Opioid Response Program and federal funds. That was our primary source of funding for the MAP program when it started, and it was supposed to have been exhausted. They informed me that there was additional money still left to be dispersed, and I asked very nicely if we could have some. And to our surprise, we didn't have to complete any paperwork or anything. We just got an allocation sent to us. So that allocation is much smaller, but it's $22,875.62. And I would request that we could accept that award as well.
I'll take it and I'll make that motion.
And I'll second, Mr. Chairman.
Motion made and seconded to approve 7B. Dennis?
Yes.
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 5 yes votes. Motion passes.
Thank you. And my third request is the approval of a professional services agreement for a peer support worker. And I believe that information was in your packets. The individual that we're looking to contract with is Carolina Martinez. She has been a detainee in the facility. She is 5 years in recovery right now. She's a graduate of the 9th Judicial District Treatment Court. She's a treatment court alumni. She stands and is presented at the state conference for them. She is in the process. We've been approved to be a site for her to obtain her volunteer hours, so she'll be able to be a certified peer support worker, and she'll be working in the detention center, doing some life skills group, helping with discharge planning, and following detainees when they release back into the community.
I move to approve agenda item 7C. I'm very familiar with peer support, and I think that is the most awesome service that we can have right now with everything that we're going through.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve item 7C. Tina?
Yes.
Roy Lee?
Yes.
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 5 yes votes. Motion passes.
Thank you.
7D, Shayla, request for approval of detainee confinement agreement with San Miguel County.
Commissioners, yes, we have the agreement, and like we mentioned earlier, the request for counties for us to house their detainees. This one is for San Miguel. It would be a new county to us. It's included in your packet, and I'll stand for any questions.
I'll make that motion to approve.
Second.
And we
I
have
would like, Mr. Chairman, I would like to not debate, but just ask a couple of questions. So is there going to be screening from these inmates and from high risk, low risk, violent, non-violent? I know we have history with what transpired with one of our county employees back a few years back. Or are we just going to accept anyone? Because I know San Miguel County, I have a lot of family from there. So I have a lot of ties there, a lot of friends. And I know that when they do the release, especially from the psychiatric ward at the mental hospital there, I just don't want them to do the Greyhound therapy and send them to our facility and us be very liable as to have you guys, do we have?
So that's in the agreement.
Okay, thank you.
Lopez, and then Ms. Ramsey can speak more on that, but she is the administrator and has the right to refuse such detainees.
Thank you so much.
So we do screening for mental health, behavior charges. We go back 5 years in behavior within a facility, all of those things, and even charges. I also have the ability to say, no, not that one, or yeah, we'll take this one. So that's all within the contract. We screen everybody that comes through the facility.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
That was one of my biggest concerns, just because of the liability issue, and it's really close to the interstates as well. And I just don't want to put you guys in harm's way.
Absolutely. I was with the
Yeah.
county when that happened. So
Yeah.
I remember that. So I'm glad we have these processes in place now.
Nice. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Shayla.
So I would assume that if you get a bad actor that you can't manage, do you have the right to send him back?
Yes, we do.
Okay, thank you.
That like got the bases covered.
No, I mean, that's a great point.
Any questions? We're good.
Thank you. Moving on.
Do we have I make a motion to approve the contract with San Miguel
Thank you
County.
very much.
I'll second.
The motion was made
Oh.
by Commissioner Greider and seconded by Commissioner Dixon.
Yes, and then I asked for conversation.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
I apologize.
I'm sorry.
Okay. We'll now vote on 7D.
We'll just vote twice.
Dennis?
Yes.
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 5 yes
Good
votes.
job.
I was totally confused.
Okay, since Mr. Parker's not here,
I think he's in the hallway, isn't he? Yeah.
tried to give him a hard time.
Hello, Mr. Parker.
Hello, Commissioner Lopez.
How are
Commissioner
you?
Savage, Commissioner Greider.
Okay, item 7E is a request for consideration of representation and access agreements between Roosevelt County and Singleton, something other LLP. Okay, Mr. Parker, you go ahead with your presentation, and thank you for coming.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. I appreciate y'all having us here today. I'm just going to turn this over to Andrew here in a minute. This is Andrew Bluth. He's a partner with Singleton Schreiber, and most of y'all have met Brandy Pino. She's the firm manager. So Andrew's the expert on this. We've already met with Amber, and I believe she supplied y'all with a Reader's Digest version of this. So basically, we're just going to answer any questions and fill in any blanks that y'all might need. And with that, I'll turn it over to Andrew.
Thanks, Malin. As Malin said, we're really just here to answer any questions that y'all may have. I think you have both the access agreement and the fee agreement that pertain to the PFAS issue Are you all familiar with what's going on with the PFAS and water contamination and all the issues?
I am.
I'm seeing a lot of nodding heads. So
Everybody is.
okay. Does anyone have a question with either the access agreement or the fee agreement? Or looking at the attorney.
If anything, I'd ask our attorney to comment if you looked it over and everything's
Yes, Mr.
suitable.
Chair, I did. I looked over it and I talked it over with Amber, and I don't see any issues with it.
Okay, just need a check.
Sure, sure.
Is that the only chemical you're searching for, or?
So that's what our initial testing would be for, and that's what when the EPA regulations come out, that they're directed to those specific subtypes of PFAS chemicals are the ones that you're going to have to ultimately get out of the water supply. It's really just the first action. There will be more, there's more coming from the EPA with respect to groundwater and other issues, but this first focus is on PFAS in the drinking water specifically.
What other areas have you tested
Cities and counties nearby?
around local in New Mexico or southern eastern Mexico?
Across New Mexico, really, also in California. These two would probably know better what's on our list in terms of.
Here locally, Mike Cassidy and myself are going to start testing multiple wells for individuals and entities that have already signed with Singleton Schreiber. We'll begin testing Friday and Saturday of this week. And for everybody that's signed an access agreement or retainer, we're going to do theirs right away. Anybody else that comes in afterwards, they'll fall back 60 days or so, probably until the next round. Yeah, somewhere around there. We haven't actually tested any yet here, but so there's been, and all that.
So we haven't tested here yet, but the New Mexico Environment Department has tested around the area. They kind of did some sampling. Melrose tested positive, Grady tested positive, Round Cannon, Texaco, Portales had a low positive in 2020, 2021. Nothing in Roosevelt County was tested. I think you guys own 3 wells, it appears, is what our understanding is. So this will be the first test of those wells.
My concern is probably going to be the county line road between Curry and Roosevelt. So when are you guys going to test in that area?
So are you referring to right there by the park?
Where the Scops dairy is, which he was at CCR 7. What was it? County Road 3. I don't know, but yeah, right in that area, right off 70.
I've seen some recent tests there from some individuals in the area, and they are hot and they are hot. So it depends on the wells that we have access to test. So if we are signing people up that own wells along there, then we'll absolutely test. But we have to have access agreements to be able to do this.
Okay, because I know that Signa Dairy is right there in that area, immediate area, and a couple of other dairies, and so yeah, I think that's should be priority if we're going to sign on this agreement.
Yeah, and our environmental consultant, Mr. Cassidy, he'll work with you all, and you can tell us what your priorities are, and he'll tell you sort of, okay, well, I'll do those, and I also think it's important to look here or there, and that's why we have him. He's our expert on it, and so
Right.
he'll know the best places to test
Okay.
in the first instance, but certainly take your guidance on that as well.
And we have a lot of support, right, from our congressional
Oh,
delegate
yeah, I mean,
on the federal level, state level.
This is very high on the priority list at the EPA. They issued the drinking water regulations. They're going to be issuing more regulations. Ultimately, that should lead to some federal funding to help municipalities who actually are responsible for the water clean it up. I don't think it'll nearly be enough, but we're at the very beginning of that process.
Yeah, well, it's very scary for our livestock, but it's also a lot scarier for the long-term effects with us as human
Of
beings.
course, that's why we're here.
So, yeah.
Sir?
Okay, you said something just a minute ago, that this funding or whatever go toward the water cleanup. So what is it you can do to clean up the water?
Yeah, so that's still developing. There are some technologies that exist now. One's called reverse osmosis. They're like carbon-based technologies that pull these plastics out of the water. Number one, they're very expensive, and number two, the technology is still being developed. Our environmental consultant, who's a geologist and all sorts of other degrees, is sort of at the forefront of knowing what those technologies are. But that's what we would do. He would come in, he would assess your guys' system, figure out what needs to be done to clean it up, what the costs are for that, and then we'll go out and try to get that money for you.
Can you speak in the microphone? I've already had people saying they can't hear you. Thank you.
So once you guys are signed up and all of the access agreements, retainers are signed up, you have access to this expert to just independently consult on your individual case and what needs to be done to test, to clean up, to dispose of after it's clean up. So again, that's one of the perks of signing everything is access to, like I said, geologist, hydrologist. He's brilliant in his field and can answer all of these questions very well.
So on this agenda, Mr. Chairman, I see that I'm into how things are spelled out, but it says request for consideration. So we're not going to take action to accept anything at this point. It's just a request for consideration.
If I understood right, they wanted an approval for an access agreement with us. Am I not correct?
That's correct.
Well, then consideration shouldn't be on this agenda line item because.
I didn't print that. I just know what they're here for.
Right, but scripted is scripted.
I have a question. If we give you access, test these wells and stuff, will y'all be holding any town halls at the local communities to get other people signed up? That's in the county and surrounding counties and stuff. Will y'all be doing anything like that?
Yeah, so there's two parts to that answer to that question. Number one, once you sign up for us, we're your lawyer, and we would be conducting that work as a work product for the county. And so that would be protected and confidential in terms of the public wells and the work that we do for you. It's one of the benefits of us being able to do it for you because we can keep it confidential.
Right.
That's separate from work that we may do for private individuals in
Right.
town and helping them get their private wells cleaned up. And yes, we would continue. I mean, we're here to help whoever we can help and get the water cleaned up. And so we'll talk to whoever in town may have issues and help them if we can.
Well, I was just thinking about the constituents throughout the county.
Yeah.
About
And we've
getting the word out here about this, and because that's who I'm worried about.
Yeah, and we've been
My
talking
own
about
wells plus everybody else's.
Absolutely.
Out in the county.
Absolutely.
Along with the city. But I was just curious if y'all was going to be have any town halls like it, here in the city, here around Portales, or go out to Elida or Dora or Causey, whatever, Floyd, stuff like that.
Yes, sir.
Especially around the Floyd community.
Yes, sir.
Out there around the air base, bombing range and stuff like that.
Yeah, so we're going to all those places. And these two have been road warriors talking to everybody.
Right.
Have they tested?
Mr.
They haven't tested anywhere yet.
I know, but my question was, in the process of testing around Cannon, with the SCOPS in that area, have they done any testing? While they were testing there, did they test any
So
bombing towards
we're-
the bombing range?
We're actually signing up individuals to do just that. We're kind of trying to be strategic to hit every corner of the bombing range. We're trying to map. Malin has pulled some maps, and what we're trying to do with our first line of testing is really map out the spread. And then as we start getting results, we'll bring more people in. So we're trying to test on each corner of the bombing range so we can know what the issue is there, because there has been no testing as far as we have been able to find around the bombing range.
Are there any other companies that are offering the same service as y'all are?
Exactly.
Other law firms, you mean?
Are there any other businesses that do similar work as you testing?
Oh, well, I know that there are some other law firms who represent folks in this area. I imagine that they're testing as well. I don't know. I mean, we have a very special relationship with this environmental consultant who, knows all of this stuff. I know nobody else is partnered with them. Whether they have other similar environmental consultants who are doing it, I don't know the answer to that.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question for our legal counsel. Can we amend and strike that word consideration on this agenda item?
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Lopez, I don't think we can amend it today. I do think that as it's worded, it implies that you can take action on it today. But I mean, going forward, we probably should have a straightforward item for approval. I think you can take action on it today.
Right. I hate to be so picky, but it just bothers me that it was worded this way, because when I read it and read over everything, I just don't like that word in this agenda item if we're going to take action on it. Consideration to me is when you're going to consider something for a later date. And that's just the way I feel. But that's why I would like to strike it, because I think I'm in support. Just put it that way. So, Mr. Chairman, I'll leave it up to you, whatever you want to do.
Well, if it's left up to me, we're going to take action on this item today. If I have someone to make a motion.
I'll make the motion to, on item 7C, to request representation and access agreement between Roosevelt County and Singleton Schreiber. 7E, sorry.
I'll second it.
Motion made and second to approve 7E with access agreements with Singleton. Mr. Lopez.
Yes.
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 5 yes votes.
Thank you all.
Appreciate it.
Thank
Thank you guys for being here.
Items
Malin, nice seeing you again.
Good to see you, sir.
7F, request for consideration of subscription agreement with Text MyGov Mandy Park.
Hello again. Text MyGov is, well, when we did our strategic planning retreat, Amber and I were tasked with finding new communication vehicles or strengthening our communication vehicles for getting the word out to the public when we just need to communicate. So, yes.
I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Is that better? Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. When we did our strategic planning retreat, Amber and I were tasked with finding new communication vehicles to communicate with the public. Text MyGov is one of those communication vehicles. Their subscription fee is somewhere under $5,000, $3,500. And
Is that a year?
yeah, annually. It's I think it's 5,000 this year and 35 annually, because there's a little bit of setup to get started. But basically, the public would have a phone number to text, and they would text in their sentence and we would, or their question, and we would pick out some keywords, automatically keywords. If it were elections or voting or results or something like that, then the text would be funneled towards the election side of the web page. If it were potholes, it might go to road. If it were taxes, it might go to treasurer or assessor. If it were about detainees, then it would go to detention, how to buy a phone card for an inmate or something like that. But we would set up with Text MyGov the questions and the keywords and direct those answers to them. And they either get an automated response answer back by text or a link to a website to take them to find the information they're looking for. And it would reduce the call volume in our offices and kind of give the information they're looking for without actually having to contact us, or direct them to a form on our website where they could report an actual problem, illegal dumping or such like that. And then we would be gathering input from the community basically through Text My Gov, and they would be getting answers from us. So I stand for any questions.
And you, the clerk's office will answer these texts.
We're gonna take the lead because we're gonna start with elections specific stuff, and then each of the department heads would go through their frequently asked questions and push out a list of responses. Like if somebody's puts in a text that says there's a mattress on the road by my house, who do I call? Then you would get response like that goes to the road department or whatever. So we would work on our frequently asked questions and how those automated responses go. And if we can't get somebody the answer with an automated response, then they are directed to the right area. If it's a sheriff's office question or a road question, so they don't need to call my office for a mattress on the road, but that would kind of be the director of traffic incoming first is an automated response, and then where to go, kind of directing traffic like we do here right at the courthouse. Divorce is upstairs. Jake Lopez Rentals is further upstairs, kind of how we direct traffic.
I'm familiar with this, and it's basically keeping up with technology.
Mm-hmm.
Keeping up with the Joneses is the saying. So I am all for it.
The city is already using it, and they have had a lot of response, especially on illegal dumping and potholes and water leaks. And they have reduced call volume. I was talking with Chris Mitchell, who is their IT director, and she loves it because she's not answering the same 62 questions every day. The questions are going to the department heads they need to go to, and the people are getting answers. And I did ask both Chris and the John, the technology people at Text My Gov, if we get a city problem, can we direct it to the city? Because it's illegal dumping, but it's by the park. It's not out near Floyd. Yes, we can direct them to the city's website for that report form instead of to reporting it through our reporting system. So basically, when we set up our questions and our keywords, and then we direct them where they need to go, and instead of taking a lot of calls over and over, same call. And like the treasurer's office would get 6 or 7 calls a day during their big collection period. Can I make my payment online? If they text, can I make my payment online? The response would be, yes, here's the link. And then they would have a lot of reduced call volume, and then their payments would just be automatic. Same with where do I go to vote? We get that a lot during early voting. Memorial Building or Jake Lopez, or those questions could be answered, especially the high volume, frequently asked questions at different times of the year could just reduce a lot of call volume with the automated response.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move to approve agenda item 7F as presented by our county clerk, Mandy Park.
I'll second that. Motion made and second to approve 7F. Roy Lee?
Yes.
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 7 yes votes, or 5 yes votes on 7F. Motion passes.
Thank you.
It's over. Yeah, it has. It didn't take but an hour and a half, so it's not bad.
My mind did not work this